the success formula that never fails. There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world becomes louder than the voice within. A moment when people begin measuring themselves by the standards of strangers. They compare their beginning to someone else's ending. They mistake temporary defeat for permanent failure. They slowly surrender their dreams, not because they lack ability, but because they lose belief. And belief is where every empire begins. Before a single skyscraper pierced the clouds, someone saw it standing in an empty sky. Before a nation was transformed, a leader imagined a future that no one else could see. Before Thomas Edison illuminated the darkness, thousands of failures stood between him and the light that changed civilization. Those failures were not signs to stop. They were proof that success was testing the strength of his conviction. That same test is standing before you. The world has convinced millions that success belongs to the lucky, the gifted, or the connected. It whispers that greatness is reserved for a chosen few, while everyone else should settle for comfort, routine, and ordinary expectations. But history has never supported that lie. History rewards those who refuse to believe it. Andrew Carnegie began with almost nothing. Abraham Lincoln faced defeat after defeat before his name became synonymous with leadership. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination before creating worlds that generations would never forget. Henry Ford was laughed at for dreaming of automobiles for ordinary people. Every one of them heard voices telling them their vision was impossible. Yet they listened to a different voice, the quiet voice that said, "Keep going." That voice is still alive today. It lives inside every person willing to silence fear long enough to hear possibility. Success has never been a mystery. It has always been a decision repeated every single day until reality catches up with vision. The formula has never changed because human nature has never changed. Fear still disguises itself as logic. Doubt still wears the mask of realism. Excuses still pretend to be wisdom, but so does courage. Every extraordinary achievement begins as an invisible decision, long before the applause, long before the recognition, long before the wealth, influence, or impact. The victory happens in complete silence when someone chooses faith over fear. Most people never witness that moment because it happens behind closed doors. It happens when everyone else is asleep. It happens when no one is watching. It happens inside the mind. The battlefield has always been there, not on the streets, not in the office, not inside the economy, inside your own thinking, because the greatest prison has never been built with concrete walls. It has been built with limiting beliefs, invisible bars created by years of disappointment, criticism, rejection, and failure. Bars so convincing that people stop attempting the impossible before they ever begin. Imagine an eagle believing it was born to walk because it spent its life surrounded by chickens. That is what happens when extraordinary people accept ordinary thinking. They forget their nature. They shrink their dreams until those dreams no longer require courage. They exchange purpose for comfort. Comfort feels safe, but comfort has buried more dreams than failure ever could. Failure teaches, comfort sedates. Failure forces you to grow stronger. Comfort convinces you that growth can wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow has stolen more destinies than yesterday ever did. The people who change the world rarely possess extraordinary talent at the beginning. What separates them is something far more powerful. They become impossible to discourage. Every obstacle becomes instruction. Every setback becomes preparation. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every delay becomes an opportunity to sharpen their character. They understand something most people never discover. Life is not happening to them. Life is responding to them. The quality of your future is being shaped by the quality of your thoughts today. Your habits are voting for the person you are becoming. Every decision is a brick. Every action is mortar. Every disciplined moment is another stone laid in the foundation of your future. The house you will live in tomorrow is being built by the choices you make today, whether you realize it or not. The universe has an extraordinary habit of multiplying whatever occupies your attention. Focus on problems long enough, and your mind becomes an expert at finding more problems. Focus on excuses long enough, and opportunities become invisible. Focus on fear long enough, and courage begins to feel unnatural. But the opposite is equally true. When your attention becomes disciplined, your life begins to reorganize itself around possibility. Opportunities that once seemed hidden suddenly appear. People who share your vision begin crossing your path. Ideas emerge from places you never expected. Doors that seemed permanently closed begin opening one by one. Not because the world changed overnight, but because you did. You changed the way you looked at your circumstances, and in doing so, you changed the way your circumstances responded to you. That is a principle as old as civilization itself. The farmer cannot command the harvest, but he can command the seed. He cannot force the rain to fall, but he can prepare the soil. He cannot rush the seasons, yet he rises every morning with confidence because he understands that every faithful action today creates a future reward tomorrow. Success follows the same law. Too many people want the harvest without planting the seed. They want confidence before taking action. They want certainty before making a decision. They want guarantees before committing themselves to a dream. But life has never rewarded hesitation. It rewards those who move with conviction, even when the destination is hidden behind fog. Faith is not believing because you can already see the road. Faith is taking the next step because you believe the road will appear. Every great builder understands this. Imagine standing before an empty field with nothing but a blueprint in your hands. To everyone else, it is just dirt. To the builder, it is already a masterpiece waiting to emerge. Every brick, every beam, every window exists first in the imagination before it exists in reality. Your future is no different. Long before success becomes visible to the world, it must become visible to you. This is why vision is priceless. Without vision, discipline becomes punishment. Without vision, sacrifice feels meaningless. Without vision, temporary pain convinces you to quit. But when your vision is clear enough, every difficult day becomes another investment instead of another burden. A person climbing a mountain does not complain about every step. They know the view waiting at the summit is worth every ounce of effort. The climb gives meaning to the struggle. So ask yourself a question that very few people have the courage to answer honestly. What mountain are you climbing? Not the one society chose for you, not the one your family expects, not the one designed to impress strangers. What mountain makes your soul feel alive? Because there is an incredible difference between being busy and being purposeful. Millions of people wake up every morning and stay busy until nightfall. They answer emails, attend meetings, scroll endlessly through distractions, complain about circumstances, repeat yesterday's habits, and call it progress. Motion is not progress. Activity is not achievement. You can spend your entire life climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. Purpose changes everything. When purpose enters your life, ordinary tasks become meaningful. Discipline becomes an act of self-respect. Patience becomes easier because you know exactly why you are waiting. Every small action becomes connected to something infinitely larger than the present moment. Purpose transforms work into mission, and people on a mission cannot be easily distracted. Distraction has become one of the greatest enemies of greatness. Never before has humanity possessed so much information and so little focus. Every notification competes for your attention. Every headline demands your emotion. Every opinion invites your reaction. The modern world profits from keeping your mind occupied with everything except your own potential. Guard your attention like it is your greatest treasure, because it is. Your attention determines your direction. Whatever consistently captures your mind eventually shapes your identity. Feed your mind fear every day, and fear becomes familiar. Feed it greatness, wisdom, discipline, courage, and possibility, and your thinking begins to evolve into something extraordinary. Napoleon Hill understood something that remains true today. The mind cannot distinguish between a thought repeated with emotion and a reality consistently experienced. Whatever you impress deeply upon your subconscious begins influencing your actions, your confidence, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. That is why your inner conversation matters. Listen carefully to the words you repeat when no one else can hear them. I'll never succeed. It's too late. I'm not talented enough. I always fail. Those sentences may seem harmless, but they become commands. Your subconscious mind works tirelessly to prove you right. Now imagine